Because of these ad exchanges and because of the fake sites selling ads to the biggest of advertisers, the publishers now saw revenue declines, right? Because the advertisers would say, why would we pay you, Hearst or Condé Nast, $35 CPMs to buy ads on your site when we can get it for $3 over here, right? 1/10 the cost. The reason the bad guys can sell it for $3 is because they have no cost of content. They don't have to hire journalists. They don't have to hire editors. They don't have to create content and pay for it because they stole all of it. Okay. So basically, when you now have tens of thousands of fake. Good morning. I'm just kind of going back a little bit to the history of how programmatic exchanges started stealing dollars from publishers. Basically the advertisers started to say, "Oh, we can get ad impressions for much cheaper over here from ad exchanges," and so that's when the revenue started flowing away from good publishers, right? Because the advertisers and their media agencies were chasing lower CPM prices. Now, they really didn't realize that lower CPM prices doesn't mean they save money because CPM is a price, not a cost, right? You multiply a lower CPM, say it's 1/10 what you would pay a normal publisher, right? So it's $3 instead of $30, but you're buying 10 times the quantity. So your cost is still $30. You're now just buying the complete crap that these fake WordPress sites are selling, right, at $3 CPMs. So they think they're saving money because they're getting lower CPM prices, but they're not actually saving money because they're still spending $30. They're just buying bad stuff instead of the good stuff from real publishers. Okay. That was 15 years ago. And now, fast forward, it's just become this habit, right? They're constantly chasing lower and lower CPM prices. And that's why the money hasn't flowed back to the good publishers, right? Because the good publishers have real costs of creating the content. They have to pay journalists, they have to pay editors. So they can never sell it for that cheap. Now, of course, over the years, a lot of publishers got desperate and they did start to lower their CPM prices to try to compete, and some of them went over to the dark side, right? Some of them started to publish clickbait content. The reason for that is, it's all based on numbers of page views. And if you have just one article that's kind of boring, but that's actually news, you're not going to get many page views from that, right? So then they started doing other shenanigans like breaking one article up into 5 pages. You have to click next to read the next paragraph, click next, read, right? All of these things were created because they needed more page views. So it gets back to your question about what is the new business model for news. People who want objective news have to pay for it, right? Whether it's a small amount or something, right? So New York Times has proven that if people value real journalism or at least quality journalism, they have to pay for it. Because if you don't, and the advertiser can solely rely on advertising, they have to generate more page views, which puts all the wrong incentives in place, right? They're going to do clickbait, they're going to do slideshow content, they're going to break up one article into 5 pieces, so you have to click more so they can load more ads and all that kind of stuff, right? And they also do other things like buy Taboola and Outbrain stuff because they say, oh yeah, we can get you a whole bunch of traffic. Okay, well, all of that's fake traffic, right? So then you load in the bot problem, all that kind of stuff. So some of the publishers, again, because they got so desperate, they started to go out and source traffic, right? And basically, if you think about it, there's not a whole bunch of humans sitting around with nothing to do but to go to your website 10 million times when you tell them to, right? So all of that sourced traffic or purchased traffic is made from bots or other fraudulent means. Okay. So unfortunately, a lot of the big publishers have kind of succumbed to the temptation, right? Because they were so desperate for revenue, they had to do that in order to survive.